Hello everyone, Nayandev here. Let's analyze this latest game where I faced a tough challenge as black. 1. d4 white starts with the queen's pawn, controlling the center. 1. nc6 I play a flexible opening, the nimzowitsch defense, developing the knight. 2. e3 white supports the text d4 pawn. 2. nb4 an immediate challenge. I jump the knight to attack the text c2 pawn and the text d4 center. 3. c3 white defends the text d4 pawn. 3. 5. The knight retreats, but keeps a central presence. 4. qb3 white develops the queen and eyes, text b7. 4. ngf6 I develop the other knight. 5. bc4 white develops the bishop, putting pressure on text f7. 5. rg8 a very unusual move. I want to keep the text f7 square safe and use the rook on the text g file later, though it's slow. 6. bxd5 white trades the bishop for the knight, simplifying the position. 6. nxd5 I recapture with the knight, keeping a piece in the center. 7. qxd5 white captures the knight, creating a queen exchange. 7. e6 I attack the queen, forcing it to move. 8. qc4 white moves the queen to a safe square. 8. bd6 I develop the bishop, aiming towards white's kingside. 9. nf3 white develops the knight. 9. qf6 I bring the queen into the game, attacking the text f3 knight. 10. white castles, ignoring the threat for a moment. 10. qf5 I continue the pressure, lining up the queen for an attack. 11. g3 white creates an escape square for the king. 11. qxf3 I sacrifice the queen for a knight and a pawn. This looks like a tactical shot, but it is too much material to give up. 12. 2 white attacks the queen, forcing it to move. 12. qh5 I retreat the queen, keeping it active. 13. na4 white centralizes the knight, attacking text g3. 13. bxg3 I sacrifice the bishop, opening lines against the king. This is an all-out desperate attack. 14. nxg3 white recaptures. 14. qh3 I bring the queen closer, creating a mating threat. 15. qxc7 white captures the rook on text a8 and attacks the text b7 pawn. 15. qxf1 plus I deliver a forced check. This is the only chance. 16. nxf1 white recaptures the queen. The material imbalance is now decisive. White is up 2 rooks for a queen and bishop. 16. b6 I try to develop my pieces. 17. ng3 white brings the knight back into the game. 17. bar 6 I develop the bishop, looking for counterplay. 18. b4 white gains space on the queen side. 18. bd3 I centralize the bishop, putting pressure on white's position. 19. qb7 white saves the queen, which is now incredibly powerful. 19. k7 I tuck the king away, but the position is lost. 20. qf3 white improves the queen's position. 20. rgc8 I develop the rook. 21. b-flat2 white develops the bishop and prepares to consolidate. 21. bg6 I improve the bishop's position. 22. h4 white gains space on the king side. 22. rc6 I try to bring the rook to a more active square. 23. h5 white attacks the bishop. 23. bd3 I move the bishop back to a strong position. 24. a4 white continues to gain space. 24. rcc8 I adjust the rook's position. 25. a5 white pushes the pawn forward. 25. bxa5 I capture the pawn. 26. rxa5 white recaptures, keeping the attack going. 26. rcb8 I attack the text b pawn. 27. d5 white sacrifices the pawn to open lines. 27. exd5 I capture the pawn. 28. rxd5 white captures the pawn, winning it back. 28. rxb4 I win the text b pawn. 29. cxb4 white captures the bishop. 29. bc4 I attack the rook, hoping for a tactical exchange. 30. re5 plus white checks the king, forcing it to move. 30. b6 I block the check. 31. qxa8 white wins the final rook. 31. g6 I try to create an escape square for the king. 32. qxa7 white wins another pawn. 32. f6 I attack the rook. 33. Rx e6 plus white sacrifices the rook for a pawn and a decisive final attack. 33. kx6 I am forced to recapture. 34, b5 white advances the passed pawn. 34, gx h5 I capture the pawn. 35, nx h5 white brings the knight into the endgame. 35, f5 I push the pawn, trying to create counterplay. 36, b6 white pushes the pawn. 36, k7 I move the king closer to the pawn. 37, b7 white pushes the pawn again. 37, f4 I push the pawn one last time. 38, bf6 plus white checks the king. 38, k6 the king moves. 39, exf4 white captures the pawn. With two passed pawns and a knight, I had to resign. A tough loss where my early queen sacrifice was too much.